right. So you should have finished your tentative opus, and now we're going to go for the answers. So we have learned 3 tenses, and fun fact, those 3 tenses comprise the present system. So the tenses you would have written as the answer are present, future, and imperfect. Then we do a review of the present stem, and I ask you to explain how it is formed. So the present stem is formed by taking the second principal part, which is also our infinitive, and removing the RE. The stem of the word plus the theme vowel is our present stem. So using the explanation that you just gave, I asked you to find the present stems of the following verbs. So all we do is we take the second form of the verb written in the number and remove the RE. So it is going to be conspicie, pipia, audi, and aude. Okay. It is important to know how to form the present stem because it is used in this next topic that we're going to learn about. So I go ahead and put the slides for the vocabulary here. You can use the Quizlet to find definitions for the words, but this is my requirement. There is benefit to handwriting things down. So you either need to write down the words and definitions in a list or create flashcards. It is up to you how you want to do that. However, in order to submit this lesson or turn in this lesson on Google Classroom, you also need to submit a photo of your list or flashcards when you turn it in. The link for the Quizlet is down below. You may do that on your own time. If you'd like to pause the video and do that now, that is okay. You will be using these vocabulary words later on, so I would recommend doing them like today as you're either watching this video, in between videos, etc. All right. So along with vocabulary words, we're learning new things about verbs today called the perfect system. Okay. So we had learned about the present system, but now we're going to learn about the perfect system. The tenses of the perfect system are perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. Easy way to remember that is the fact that all of those have the word perfect in it. But I want to draw a comparison so that it's easier to understand the purpose as well as just the use of perfect, the perfect system and perfect tenses. First, I'm going to go through present system, just a quick recap. Right. The present system indicates a continuous or incomplete action, meaning whatever you were doing has yet to end. So my first example is in imperfect. When you called, I was walking. The walking had not ceased. It was still continuing. I am running, meaning I am currently running. I have not stopped running. You will think. You could also say you will be thinking. It's a really weird way for us to say that in English, but the idea is that the thinking has not stopped, right? It hasn't happened yet technically, but it hasn't stopped. And that's the main understanding you should get from the present system at this moment, is that the verb's action hasn't ended, right? The perfect system, on the other hand, indicates a completed or finished action. Yesterday I walked, meaning I am no longer walking, I stopped. A week ago I had run, meaning you didn't start running a week ago and are still running now. It means that action was completed. And then this is the one that's usually a little bit harder to get behind because we have the word will. But in a month, I will have thought. A thought. Okay. Meaning that in a month, the thinking or the thinking about that thought will have been completed. It'll be finished. Okay. So the perfect system indicates a completed or finished action, while the present system indicates a continuous or incomplete action. This is also why when some of you would try translating our imperfect was walking as walked, it would be considered incorrect because was walking indicates a continuous action, while walked indicates a completed action. So, what is the perfect system versus the present system? I don't know why I kept that title. Anyways, moving on. While the present system uses the present stem to form verbs in the present, future, and imperfect tenses, the perfect system uses the perfect stems in the plural. All right, meaning that removing the RE and then adding our endings only applies to our present system. We will learn a new stem, or stems plural, for our perfect system. There are two stems for perfect system because one stem is used for active voice and one stem is used for passive voice. So here is our active voice, which is what we will be learning today. We will not learn passive voice for a few more chapters. So for the active voice, the third principal part, the one that ends in I, when you look up a verb, for example, ma, we. So you take that third principal part, ma, we, and remove the I or minus I. So you take, for example, in our ma, we, minus I to get amaw. That is the active voice perfect stem. We'll talk about the passive voice stem, but just so you know, it is the fourth principal part. There are some patterns for forming the perfect active stem. First and fourth conjugation, add VI to the present stem. So if we take our present stem, which we talked about earlier, we remove the RE from our second form. So for paro, parare, we remove the RE and we get para, and then add VI. It would be parawi. For audio, audire, we remove the RE and we get audiwi. Second conjugation has a different pattern where you add UI to the root of the verb, meaning that we remove the theme vowel and the RE to find the root of the verb. So teneo, tenere becomes ten plus ui. So it's going to be tenui. Unfortunately, because Latin is like any other language and pretty much any other thing, there are exceptions. There are some patterns to help with learning the perfect stem, but nota bene, no pattern is absolutely consistent. This is why it's important for you to know the forms, the principal parts of your verbs. For example, a first conjugation verb, do, dare, its third principal part, its third principal part is actually dedi. Right? No real rhyme or reason there. It is dedi. All right. Third conjugations have always liked to be special and have no pattern. That is why in that slide, I'm not going to go back, but that's why in that slide before, there was no pattern given. So for example, point being, by saying this, you just have to memorize those forms. So for example, dico, dicere becomes dixi, and capio, capere becomes capi. All right. So, moral of what I just talked about when I talked about learning the stems is that from now on, you will need to know all four principal parts of a verb. I have listed them in your vocabulary lists from day one, and I've tried incorporating them in other activities we have done. But if you haven't added them in your memorization, they are something that needs to be added now. All right. What I have you doing next is a matching activity where I have taken vocabulary words and you're going to use them to match the present stem to the perfect stem. I would take a shot at it without using notes before you start looking up every single word on your in your vocabulary list to find the match. Go ahead and do that now, and I will see you on